Welcome to the Lincoln City Council meeting of June 24th, 2024. In accordance with LB 898, please be advised that a copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted at the back of the chamber by the northwest door. Let us all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a brief period of silent meditation.
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the order of business of the City Council is as follows. The clerk will call the items listed on the agenda. Under public hearing, anyone wishing to speak on an item should come forward after the clerk reads that item. The council shall require any member of the public desiring to address the council to first identify themselves, the name of an organization or group, including an address that you may be representing by such person or group, unless the address requirement is waived to protect the security of the individual. The applicant may then make one short rebuttal. Each speaker should begin by stating their name, address, organization, or group, whether you're speaking in favor or in opposition to the item. Testimony is limited to 5 minutes per speaker. After all public hearings, the council will vote on resolutions and items listed under the third reading. On the second and last Monday of the month, including tonight, immediately prior to the adjournment, anyone may speak up on any issue not in the agenda for that date nor planned for a future agenda. We ask that all speakers strive for civility and allow the business of the council to proceed unimpeded. Will the clerk please call the first item of business?
Our first item of business is a reminder that due to the Independence Day holiday, City Council will not meet on July 1st, 2024. Next on our agenda would be our consent agenda, sections 1, sections 2, and sections 3.
All right, is there anyone here to speak on the consent agenda items, section 1, 2, or 3? Seeing none, we'll move forward.
We can now vote on these items. Item 1A is approving the distribution of funds representing interest earnings on short-term investments of idle funds during the month ended April 30th of 2024, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
We kind of all fell asleep, didn't we?
Second, Bowers.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead and call the roll.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
and Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried, 6-0. Next is item 1C, affidavit of mailing for, next item is item 2A, introduced by Schob.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Weber. Go ahead and call the roll.
Beckius,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried, 6-0. That concludes our consent agenda. Next will be our Section 4 Public Hearing Liquor Resolutions. I'll call both items together. Item 4A and 4B is application of MBC Events LLC, doing business as Iron Horse Bar and Event Room for a Class C liquor license located at 728 Q Street, Suite B, and the related manager application of Christina Miza.
All right. Is there anyone here to speak? Come on up. Yeah.
Which one?
Welcome. Your pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Christina Meza. I am the new owner of MLC Events. MBC Events LLC. DBA Iron Horse Bar and Event Room at 728 Q Street, Suite B, here in Lincoln.
Great.
And then we just do private events, strictly private events. So smaller events like small weddings, rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, such as small tailgates.
All right. Do we have any questions for the applicant? I think that's all. Thank you.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on these items?
Mr. Chair, seeing no one else coming forward on these items, I'd like to make a motion that we approve both 4A and 4B.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded by Beckius. Go ahead and call the roll.
Beckius,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. That concludes our section 4. We'll move on to section 5, public hearing resolutions. I'll call item 5A, accepting and approving the report of new and pending claims against the city for May 16th through May 31st of 2024.
All right. Is there anyone who would like to speak on item 5A? 5A, please come forward. Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion. Or,
Oh, sorry, I thought someone was coming from.
okay. Is there someone coming forward? No.
And she's for 5B.
Not? Oh, we vote at the end. Thank you. All right. Moving on, 5B.
Item 5B is Comprehensive Plan Conformance 24011, application of the City of Lincoln to review as to conformance with the 2050 Lincoln-Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan, a proposed amendment to the University Place redevelopment plan to revise the North 48th and Madison Avenue mixed-use redevelopment project by increasing the number of housing units from 54 to 57, adjusting the legal description, updating the cost-benefit analysis to reflect an increased tax increment financing allocation from $1,925,205 to $2,292,163 on the property generally located at southwest corner of North 48th Street and Madison Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Lincoln City Council. I'm Wynn Yermstead, Community Development Manager with the city's Urban Development Department. Here today with an amendment to an existing redevelopment plan. It was just about a year ago, in June of 2023, that City Council approved the University Place redevelopment plan amendment that added the 48th and Madison redevelopment project, which is a 3-story mixed-use building right on the corner of 48th and Madison. Included 54 units, a mix of residential units, a mix of market rate and affordable housing. Since that time, the project has been further developed, which led to the 3 changes before you today. Increasing the number of housing units from 54 to 57, continuing to be a mix of market rate and affordable. Second one is adjusting the legal description to include 2 alleys. The overall boundary of the project does not change. That's the same, it's just correcting the legal to add those 2 alleys. And then the third is increasing the TIF from tax increment financing from 1.9 million to 2.3 million due to changes in the projected assessed value increasing. I'd also point out that community development law, the state's law, requires that any change of 5% or more requires an amendment to the plan. So Planning Commission found this amendment to be in conformance with the comp plan on May 30th, considering it a minor adjustment in terms of land use. We'll be back to you in about a month with the redevelopment agreement. And that's it. Happy to answer any questions you may have, and also the developer's attorney is here as well.
Great. Council, what questions do we have?
It's a good project.
Yeah, it is.
No questions.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to our next item. Oh, excuse me, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry.
Good evening, members of the council. Danae Kalkowski appearing today on behalf of the redeveloper, B&J Properties, doing business for this project as New Generation Properties. I think Wynn did a good job kind of describing. We've gotten further along. We're dealing with a little bit different interest rate environment and construction cost environment. And so we just were making some tweaks, adding a few units to help with the economics of the project. And I think just asking for those simple amendments to help as we move forward. And you're going to get to see all of the great details here pretty soon with the redevelopment agreement. But I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Council, questions?
No questions.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any more conversations on 5B? If not, we'll go ahead and move forward. 5C.
Item 5C is Comprehensive Plan Conformance 24013, application of the City of Lincoln to review as to conformance with the 2050 Lincoln Lancaster Comprehensive Plan for an amendment to the Antelope Valley redevelopment plan to add the North 26 and U Street redevelopment project to include construction of 8 townhouse dwelling units on the property generally located at 2537 Vine Street.
Good afternoon, council members. Hallie Salem, Urban Development Department, 555 South 10th Street. We are before you today requesting approval of an amendment to the Antelope Valley redevelopment plan to add the North 26 and U Street redevelopment project. Showing you the location of the project. And the project area is defined by the black box with white striping.
Our screens haven't refreshed yet. Could you hold on a second?
Sure.
I don't believe that these screens are going to reflect that for the time being.
I understand.
We need
Never mind.
And then the red project site, the project site is located in red. I will hold it up for your benefit. The project includes a new construction of 8 row-style townhomes with 4 fronting Vine Street and 4 of the townhomes fronting U Street. That's currently on vacant land, or that's proposed to be built on the currently vacant land. The project is currently estimated to cost over $2.3 million, including approximately $358,000 in TIF financing generated over a 20-year period from that project. The project's consistent with the comprehensive plan and the Antelope Valley redevelopment plan through the encouragement of redevelopment of underutilized land in the area that includes residential infill and helps to increase the number and variety of rental housing units in Lincoln. The project supports the Climate Action Plan initiatives and complete neighborhoods, locating the project along active transportation corridors and facilities. On May 22nd, as part of the consent agenda, the Planning Commission found the project to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. After 2 visits and adjustments to the design as a result of comments from the Urban Design Committee, the schematic design was also approved by Urban Design Committee. The project will be in the proposed historic Holly redevelopment project area that's coming forward next, but will be a standalone project. And the redevelopment agreement is currently being negotiated and should be back to you in the next couple of months. The developer's attorney, Ann Post, is here to also speak to the project, but I can answer any questions now or following her presentation if you have any.
Any questions, council?
I think we've heard about this project for quite a few times, haven't we? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Questions?
Good evening. My name is Ann Post. I'm an attorney with Rumboldt Ludke Law Firm. I'm here tonight on behalf of the developer for this project. You're correct. You've heard about this project a few times. I believe it may have been either January or December that this project, maybe sometime earlier this year, we'll go with earlier this year, was in front of the council on the amendment to a community unit plan for the zoning for this project. So today it's in front of you for the amendment to the redevelopment plan, which is the next step before we will get to our final step, which is the redevelopment agreement for the allocation of tax increment financing to be generated and used associated with this project. So first, to back up again, the development group associated with this project, as you know, this is the 4th project that they have done, and really they have had it in Lincoln, and they really specialize in infill projects. Infill projects that increase density and increase the variety of housing types available, especially in this area of Lincoln. That has included several multifamily projects The last project then was multifamily combined with a row home element, and so this is one in front of you is 8 row homes. 8 row homes. As Hallie stated, we anticipate that this project will involve over $2.3 million in private investment, will generate just over $350,000 in TIF to be allocated to this project. With that, I am happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Council, any questions?
All right. Thank you so much.
Is there anyone else here to speak on item 5C? Please come forward. Seeing none, we can move forward down the agenda.
I'll call item 5D, Comprehensive Plan Conformance 24014, application of the City of Lincoln to review as to conformance with the 2050 Lincoln-Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan, a proposed amendment to Antelope Valley Redevelopment Plan and the North 27th Redevelopment Plan to add the historic Holly Rehabilitation Project to assist in the rehabilitation and repairs of properties in and about the Holly Landmark District, generally located in the area of 25th and T Streets.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the City Council. Jennifer Hyatt with Urban Development, 555 South 10th Street.
And Stephanie Rouse with Planning Department, 555 South 10th Street.
So we're here tonight asking for approval to amend both the Antelope Valley redevelopment area and the North 27th Street redevelopment area to include the historic Holly Rehabilitation Project. As you can potentially see on the map here for the general public, the area in yellow is the Antelope Valley redevelopment area. The area in blue is the North 27th, so we need to amend both of those today. And we are here because of a joint department effort. The project started when Stephanie reached out to Urban Development trying to identify some funding sources to help preserve our historic gems in the city.
So if you're familiar with the Historic Preservation Design Standards Project, that's a project that the Planning Department has been working on for the last year. As part of that, we reached out to neighborhoods that had local landmark districts in them early on to introduce the project, get feedback on what they needed. And what we heard over and over again is needing resources to help rehab these historic homes. And so that's where the conversation started with urban development staff on, are there tools out there, funding sources that we could offer these homeowners to help with historic rehab in our districts?
So as you can see on the map that I've put up here, we have the historic landmark district. Yes, okay. Landmark district in the green shade, as well as the 300-foot kind of buffer around the historic district. Stephanie, why do we include the 300?
So as part of a text amendment last year, we added language into all of our design boards to allow for review within a 300-foot buffer of those districts. So we applied that same thought process to the Holly district, knowing that while the homes within the district are important, there's still plenty of historic character that surrounds the district that could benefit from this program as well.
And the community development law, which authorizes tax increment financing, does actually identify historic preservation as one of the recognized benefits of TIF. So we were able to work with Stephanie to create this project. In conversations throughout urban development, we decided to use as a model for the historic rehabilitation district, the SODO rental rehab district. So I know you guys are all very familiar with that, so I won't bore you with details of SODO. The Holly neighborhood was a natural choice for our first historic preservation district because it's already a landmark district. It's easily identifiable. It's got very clean boundaries. And of course, it's home to some of the city's earliest homes, and they aren't in need of repair. So the project will allow the city to invest almost $9 million over 20 years into the rehabilitation of these historic homes.
And speaking to its historic character, it's one of our older landmark districts. It is characterized by homes and one of the first eastward pushes from downtown, one of the first subdivisions, the Holly subdivision, that was outside the original plat of Lincoln. The district was designated back in 1998 to preserve and pay respect to the importance of the neighborhood, represents its 46-year history of development from 1884 to 1910. So it has a lot of our older homes within the city of Lincoln, and a really high cluster of clapboard style homes. There's only 2 brick structures actually within the district.
So this is just more of a clean map of the entire boundary of the district, which would go from roughly Q Street on the west Q Street on the south to Vine Street on the north and North 23rd to North 27th. And as you can see here in these areas that have been kind of blocked out, as Hallie mentioned earlier, we do have 3 active TIF projects in this district. So those have been removed from the district and have not, like they are their own projects. So their taxes are being divided for their own purposes. So they haven't been utilized in the calculation of our numbers that we came up with. And to round it out, we recognize that historically accurate repairs can actually be at a significant cost burden to any rehabilitation project. But we want to make sure that we're encouraging that appropriate rehabilitation and appropriately preserving the homes and any other historic contributing buildings in the area. So the project is consistent with both redevelopment plans as well as the comprehensive plan, which all 3 identify historic preservation as a priority. And it is also consistent with the city's affordable housing coordinated action plan because it preserves naturally occurring affordable housing in the district. So we ask this body to approve the redevelopment plan, and if we get that authorization, we will start moving forward with policies and procedures for the program. Thanks. Any questions?
All right, questions? Go ahead, Tom.
Jennifer, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming down today. Surely appreciate it. Stephanie, the question's actually for you. As Jennifer was stating, we're looking at upwards of potentially $9 million of reinvestment in the district, which is great. I know a lot of folks have, through the South of Downtown Rehabilitation Project, have become somewhat familiar with upgrades that are TIF eligible upgrades in that district, but with the historical nature, when we talk about maybe redoing siding, fascia soffit, what have you, what can folks in the district expect in terms of what they may need to provide or submit to the city in terms of restoring their historic property appropriately?
Sure. So the Historic Preservation Design Standards project that I mentioned will be coming forward on July 15th for a public hearing at City Council. And so those are the design standards that we would base this project on for any upgrades that would take place on the exterior of the structure. So none of our standards are applicable to interior, so it'd only be on the exterior. So for example, if someone came in for vinyl siding, that's not something that we would approve in our historic districts. So we would recommend that they repair any damaged wood on the clapboard siding and then have it repainted. Things like windows, we understand that there's a point of no repair, so if a window would need to be replaced, doing it with something in kind, so an aluminum clad wood window, or if the windows can be repaired, working with a window restoration expert to try and repair the wood windows for the next 100 years of that home's life. So a few examples.
Okay. And when we speak further on July 15th, I'm assuming that we'll learn more at that point in time about how that process will work for folks, and maybe you can discuss a little bit about that then.
We can talk specifically about the design standards review process for HPC, but the program has yet to be developed. So that process, and we intend to have another public meeting with the neighborhoods and kind of after this approval process to give updates and then talk about what types of work would be included in the program and what that process would look like.
Very good. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Jennifer.
We have had some preliminary conversations with the neighborhood. We did host a public input session as well as did a survey. So we know that some of the neighborhood people have identified porches, windows, siding, that kind of stuff. We do know that we will probably require the projects to go through HPC individually as opposed, because sometimes like with Soto, there's the application process and it's reviewed internally, but since this is such a specific nature, we will probably have each of those go through so that they get the approvals and recommendations from HPC.
That was kind of the heart of what I was trying to get at. If there were going to be conditional approvals, say if you're using this material, you're conditionally approved to do so, or you were going to review things individually. So you've answered my question.
Yep.
All right.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Other questions?
Tom asked all the questions I was going to ask, so.
I have one. Looks like this will now include several businesses. How will they be impacted?
Can you provide, what do you mean impacted?
Doesn't it go along 27th Street there too? And so they'll be subject to any type of, if they were going to change the exterior of their building or?
Only if they were already designated a historic building. So this doesn't put any kind of regulations in place. There are already pre-existing regulations, which you are so much more knowledgeable to address. But this district itself does not place any new regulations. If they were historic, they would have to follow the historic requirements.
Okay.
Already, which are.
Yeah, so none of the commercial is in the historic district today, so they would be unchanged.
Okay.
So if a homeowner didn't want to follow the, like siding issue, go switch it from wood to vinyl, he just wouldn't be eligible for the TIF.
They also would, so all projects will still have to go through HPC review. The way the new standards work is if you meet the standards, so if you're going to paint your house, then you can go ahead and get an administrative approval for that. If you want to deviate from the standards, you'd have to go to HPC and request a certificate of appropriateness.
Yeah, that works.
So
okay.
they could still deny you the vinyl siding, and that's where the intent of the program is that we would like to see you pay to patch and paint the siding versus put the vinyl siding on that. And so we would be coming with the funding opportunity to help kind of bridge that gap.
But doesn't that kind of go against the climate issues? By not adding, usually when you do siding or vinyl siding, you put a layer of styrofoam down for insulation.
There are always costs, though, because vinyl siding is not a very sustainable material to manufacture, and it degrades over time, and it doesn't break down in a landfill. So while you do get extra insulation value, you can actually start to damage the wood siding underneath because it's trapping moisture behind the barrier that it wasn't intended to. So while you can gain some insulation value, there's some trade-offs on a climate perspective.
Further, by repairing instead of pulling all of the siding off, we actually would meet the climate action plan by keeping stuff out of the landfill. So in attempting to help these homes repair, and of course energy enhancement is part of it, so there are other ways that we can help them with like replacing their windows or repairing their windows, help bring that up to speed too. So it's always a balance.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Anyone else here to speak on item 5D? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move forward. Do we need a motion then? Show column. Thank you.
I'll call item 5A.
Go.
Item 5A is accepting and approving the report of new and pending claims against the city for May 16th through May 31st of 2024, introduced by Weber.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Beckius.
Okay.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and call the roll.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 5B is Comprehensive Plan Conformance 24011, application of the City of Lincoln to review as to conformance with the 2050 Lincoln-Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan, a proposed amendment to the University Place redevelopment plan to revise the North 48th and Madison Avenue mixed-use redevelopment project by increasing the number of housing units from 54 to 57, adjusting the legal description, updating the cost-benefit analysis to reflect an increased tax increment financing allocation from $1,925,205 to $2,292,163 on the property generally located at southwest corner of North 48th Street and Madison Ave, introduced by Weber.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Beckius. Any discussion? Go ahead and call the roll.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 5C is Comprehensive Plan Conformance 24013, application of the City of Lincoln to review as to conformance with the 2050 Lincoln-Lancaster Comprehensive Plan for an amendment to the Antelope Valley redevelopment plan to add the North 26th and U Street redevelopment project to include construction of 8 townhouse dwelling units on the property generally located at 2537 Vine Street, introduced by Weber.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Duden. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 5D is Comprehensive Plan Conformance 24014, application of the City of Lincoln to review as to conformance with the 2050 Lincoln-Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan, a proposed amendment to the Antelope Valley Redevelopment Plan and the North 27th Redevelopment Plan to add the historic Howley Rehabilitation Project to assist in the rehabilitation and repairs of properties in and about the Howley Landmark District, generally located in the area of 25th and T Streets, introduced by Weber.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Schob. Any discussion? Go ahead and call the roll.
Weber,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Okay. That concludes section 5 of our agenda. We shall move to section 6, our public hearing ordinances, second reading and related resolutions. I'll read item 6A. Item 6A is approving the Cornhusker Shopping Center lease agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of the Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department and Enterprise Company, Inc. for the lease of space by Health Department's Women, Infants, and Children WIC program at 2662 Cornhusker Highway, Suite 7A, from November 1st, 2024 through October 31st of 2028.
All right. Is there anyone here to speak on this? Here we go.
Good evening. Gwendy McGinnis, Lincoln Lancaster County Health Department, 3131 O Street. This is a renewal of a lease agreement that we've had in place since 2010 for a satellite clinic for our Women, Infants, and Children's program. WIC is a federally funded program, so the operational costs are included in the federal dollars that pass through the state to the local programs within our budget to cover the operational costs of this. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Is there anyone else to speak on item 6A? Please come forward now. Seeing none, we can move forward.
I'll call item 6B, amending the pay schedule for the employee group whose classifications are assigned to the pay range prefixed by the letter A by creating the classifications accounting manager, accountant 3, and accountant 2.
Good evening, Barb McIntyre, Human Resources, 575 South 10th. And what we're doing here is today at the city, we only have one accounting classification called an accountant. And we're expanding this to create an accounting family of classifications. So the first one, the accounting manager, is going to be used only in the finance department. There is one FTE in this class. It will be the highest class we have in that series. It will result in the employee in that class getting a 3.25 pay increase for a cost of $4,480. The next one, the accounting 3, in this series is also only going to be used by the finance department. There are 2 employees currently in that classification today. The cost of that to place them into this new range is a cost of $22,817. And I should let you know that these amounts are in the finance budget. So let me tell you that. So otherwise, you'll probably ask me that question when I get to the end of this.
Yes, we will.
So the next one, accountant 2, we are creating this because we want to create that whole chain or kind of career ladder for someone. We don't have anyone who's going to go in this classification at this time, but we are creating it now because we understand as people progress in careers, this will come into use. It will be used by both LTU and finance, so this is a little bit different. It's expanded out for greater usage beyond just the finance department. So those are the classifications in that accounting series.
Great.
Let's see, I think the next item.
Any questions?
Here,
Go ahead.
I have a question. Barb, will the job descriptions be comparable to like jobs in the business world, so to speak?
So we do have an item further down, and that is the LTU Business Office Manager, sorry, let me get the title right, Transportation Utilities Business Manager. And we are making that adjustment because it's got very similar skills and knowledge that are required as to that accounting manager. So we did look at that. We want to kind of keep those aligned. And that is item 6D. And so that adjustment's coming forward specifically for that very reason you just mentioned.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Is there anyone else here to speak on item 6B? Seeing none, you can go ahead and call the, or excuse me, we can move forward.
I'll call item 6C. Item 6C is amending the pay schedule for employee group whose classification is assigned to the pay range, which is prefixed by the letter A, by changing the range for class 1128 Assistant City Controller from A14 to A15 and class 1139 Assistant City Treasurer from A12 to A13.
Yep. So as we were looking at those accounting classes, we took a look across the department and said, how are others impacted by this who are doing, again, not the same work, but work that requires the same kind of knowledge, skills, years of experience, all of that. So we are adjusting the city assistant city controller and assistant city treasurer. And the assistant city controller, there are 3 employees in that classification that will be impacted, and the cost to move this classification to that new proposed pay range is $4,353. And in the assistant city treasurer, there's 1 employee impacted in that classification, and there's a cost of that of $3,469.
Any questions, council?
No.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on item 6E? Go ahead and move on.
I'll call item 6D, amending the pay schedule for employee group whose classification is assigned to the pay range, which is prefixed by the letter M, by changing the pay range from class 1145 Transportation Utilities Business Manager from M07 to W04.
Yeah, so as we compare it again, to look at the business side of this, we have people in the accounting world that do this, but we also have people in that business side that do very similar things. And that is where the Transportation Utilities Business Manager adjustment came in. So there is 1 person in LTU that does this work. There's no cost at this time to move it because we are moving, they will be eligible for a merit increase at the time of their merit. So there will be a cost there because right now they are at the top of their pay range and maxed out. But by moving this position up to a W range, it gives them that opportunity for merit increases again.
Any questions? Director Elliott.
Thank you. Liz Elliott, Director of Lincoln Transportation Utilities. And I just want to, as Barb said, kind of piggyback on what she said. One of the unique positions that this position brings that is unique to the city is that also under our business manager falls our water and wastewater billing and call center. So in addition to managing and handling the largest city budget, she also has this additional responsibility. So as we looked at the market rates and kind of compared, this puts it more in line. And as Barb said, there's no immediate budget impact, but it does allow for that to match and hopefully retain our really good, outstanding employees. So we're just trying to keep up and maintain that. It is something that's we'll have built into our budget, but right now there's no immediate budget impact for the next year. So I appreciate the consideration on this, as well as for the accountant position. That will help with retaining employees. Some of the things that we're seeing are employees, our accountants moving on to higher accounting positions, sometimes in the finance office, but sometimes, most often, outside of city government. So by adding those additional, it will allow us to hopefully retain those good employees. So thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on item 6D? Seeing none, we'll move forward.
Okay. This concludes our section 6 of our agenda. We can now move to section 7. Item 7A is approving the real estate exchange agreement between the City of Lincoln and the County of Lancaster for property within the block bounded by 8th and 9th and J and K Streets, introduced by Shob.
So moved.
Second.
Becky is. Give it to. I can tell over here.
Just say Tom.
Okay.
Motion been made second. Go ahead and call the roll.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 7B is Comprehensive Plan Conformance 24008 and Fiscal Year 2023-24 CIP Amendment declaring approximately the city's 50% ownership interest in the property generally located at 555 South 9th Street as surplus and amending the fiscal year 2023-2024 CIP to authorize and appropriate $155,000 from the Advanced Land Acquisition Fund for the Permanent Supportive Housing for Chronically Homeless Project at 8th and J Streets, introduced by Schob.
So moved.
Second?
Second by Beckius. Any discussion?
Good thing.
All right, go ahead and call the roll.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 7C is street name change 24001, application of the City of Lincoln to change the name of West Monroe Street to West Monroe Court due to the proposed cul-de-sac on the property generally located at East Southwest 44th Street and West Monroe Street, introduced by Schob.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Duden. Any discussion? Go ahead and call the roll.
Weber,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 7D is text amendment 24005, requested the City of Lincoln Planning Department to amend Lincoln Municipal Code Section 27.06.020, classification of use types, to allow more than one main use on a lot or tract in the R1, R2, R3, and R4 zoning districts for a place of religious assembly, and by amending Section 27.67.040, parking requirements, special conditions to allow other primary uses located on a lot or tract with a place of religious assembly to base required parking on the largest parking requirement of any single use, introduced by Schob.
So moved.
Second?
Second by Beckius. Any discussion? Go ahead and call the roll, please.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 7E is annexation 24005, application of Planning Department to annex approximately 25.95 acres, more or less generally located at the southeast corner of West Old Cheney Road and Southwest 12th Street, introduced by Schob.
So moved.
Second?
Second by Beckius. Any discussion? Go ahead and call the roll.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 7F is change of zone 24012, application of Southwest Folsom Development LLC to change the zone from AG Agriculture District to R3 Residential District on approximately 10.66 acres, more or less, and change of zone from AG Agriculture District to R4 Residential District on approximately 12.06, generally located at the southeast corner of West Old Cheney and Southwest 12th Street, introduced by Schob.
So moved.
Second?
Second by Beckius. Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Weber,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Okay. That concludes section 7. Section 8 is resolutions first readings or items 8A through 8M. Section 9 is ordinances first readings and related resolutions, items 9A through 9C. Section 10 is our pending list date certain, which is items 10A and 10B. And our pending list items are section 11 are items 11A through 11H.
All right, this is the last Monday of the month, so public may speak on any issue not on the agenda today or plan for a future agenda. We ask that all speakers strive for civility and allow the business of the council to proceed unimpeded. Is there anyone who would like to make public comment tonight? And we do have 2 microphones, so feel free to stand at either one.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Evening, Gayshawn Lungelo, 323 North 44th Street. I believe the first time I came up here, I talked about wanting y'all to do something because with the atrocities going on in Gaza, the most heartening thing that I saw pretty much every day now I see on like Instagram or TikTok is little kids being killed. Now, just recently, I was scrolling through Instagram, and of course, I see other news, and there's a news article that says 4 out of 10 kids, I believe it's 4 out of 10, or 4 out of 10 families in the United States, our own country, does not have enough money to feed their kids. And our tax dollars are going overseas to kill kids in the Gaza Strip. But we don't want to use our tax dollars to feed our kids during the summer when they're away from school. I'm pretty sure one of my people have already talked about this kid. But her name is Hind. And just a review of what happened to her. So Hind Rajab, a Palestinian girl found dead after being trapped under Israeli fire for days. 2 weeks after contact was lost with 5-year-old and 2 rescuers, all 3 were found dead in Gaza City. Hind Rajab was a 5-year-old Palestinian girl, was found dead Saturday, nearly 2 weeks after she was trapped in a car with her dead family and surrounded by Israeli forces. Youssef Zeno and Ahmed Al-Mahoun, 2 paramedics sent to rescue Rajab after she called pleading for help from inside the vehicle, which is under Israeli fire, were also found dead. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society said the ambulance was found bombed in Tal Hawa area of Gaza City, meters away from the car in which Rajab was trapped. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society accused Israeli forces of deliberately targeting the ambulance upon its arrival at the scene, despite prior coordination to facilitate a rescue mission. Rajab was last heard from on 29 January. Her mother, Wissam Rajab, previously told Middle East Eye the family were separated when they tried to flee the area, which was under intense Israeli attacks. Due to poor weather, Wissam had put her daughter in the vehicle along with her uncle, his wife, and their children, while the rest of the family fled on foot. After hearing gunfire in the area, the family called the Red Crescent to tell them the car was getting shot at. Initially, Wissam thought everyone in the car was killed until she got a call from Leon Hamadeh, her 15-year-old cousin, saying, Hind and I are wounded and all the family is dead. I don't want to die. Call an ambulance to save us. I'm scared. The tanks are 500 meters away from me. The line went dead. Wissam thought they had been both been killed, but when she called again, Hind answered and said, I'm alive. But Lahan was martyred. Mom, I'm afraid they're all dead. Come and get me.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. My timer changed color incorrectly. I'm going to stop at 3:25 and reset it for you to finish up your time key. So give me just 1 second.
You have 2 additional minutes that are a little under that.
Okay. Can I reset for 2 minutes? Okay.
That's great.
Apologize for the wait.
Do we want to just manually time and alert the speaker then when it's getting closer. Would that work?
Yes, I can do that, and then I'll reset the timer here for the next speaker.
Sorry about the interruption.
I apologize about that, sir. Go ahead.
So when they called, they recorded her message. I'm so scared, please come. Please call someone to come and take me. Okay, dear, I will come and take you. A volunteer from the PRCS is coordinating the people so that we can come and take. Are you exposed to gunfire? Yes, take me. I want to take you, but I can't right now. That's the last voice recording of that little girl that was murdered. And now, since we have more evidence gathered, forensic architecture probe concludes Israeli tank likely killed Palestinian child Hind Rajab. A UK-based research group published the findings of forensic investigation on Friday, revealing that Hind Rajab, a 6-year-old Palestinian girl found dead along with members of her family in northern Gaza earlier this year, was most likely killed by Israeli tank fire, a whole-ass tank. The investigation found that the car in which Rajab was killed had been hit with 335 bullets, with most of the entries coming from the right side of the vehicle. The investigation was conducted by forensic architecture, Al Jazeera's Fault Lines, and the NGO Earshot. The forensic architecture said the gun used for this attack was firing at a range of 750 to 900 rounds per minute, and that this range exceeds that of the AK-type assault rifle that is commonly attributed to Palestinian fighters operating in Gaza. This range of rounds per minute is consistent with Israeli Army-issued weaponry such as M4 assault rifle or FM mag machine gun on the Merkava tank, the investigation said. There's going to be more and more and more investigations coming out every single day, and it's hard to keep up. There's atrocities happening every single day.
Time.
You have the power to do something, do something.
Thank you. There is a microphone open if someone else would like to come up on the other side. If not, go ahead.
Is my time started? Okay. My name is Majee Miller Jenkins. I'm a resident in Lincoln, and I'm here to speak to you yet again. I come so often. I've missed a little while because family is important and we're supposed to be able to devote our time in multiple areas. I want to point out that we have one of the most queer boards we have ever had, and I didn't see any of your faces at Free Pride. So when it comes to like intermingling with our community, where were you? I also am a delegate for my district, and I was at the meeting in Hastings when some horrible stuff went down. Lots of rule breaking. Trans woman's ability to make history was suppressed. Where were y'all? I saw you. Why didn't you say anything? What did we put you here for? Why are you sitting in those seats? Why do you deserve to sit in those seats? 15,000 dead Palestinian children. Over 6 million dead Sudanese mothers, daughters, sons. If you think this doesn't affect us, think of the fact that we are privileged to be one of the top 3 refugee sites for Sudanese people in the United States. Did you know that? Question to the class. Did you know that we were one of the top 3 refugee sites for Sudanese people? Even a head nod, some kind of acknowledgement that I am actually speaking to you. Thank you. Yes? Okay, cool. Do you realize that General Dynamics creates the war weapons that are murdering our Lincolnite family members abroad? Do you understand that? Do you understand how point A connects to point B? You are our local government. We are supposed to be able to interact with you tell you our opinions, tell you our needs and desires, and have you be the representative democracy piece that you are elected to be, and you're failing us miserably. How many people have to come here? How consistently before you make any kind of public statement? Hell, if it's not about Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Eritrea, Haiti, Libya, and 26, West Papua New Guinea. There are 26 active global genocides. Do you know about any of them? Do you know about your complicity in any of them? This microphone has dead Sudanese children attached to it. Your computers have dead Congolese children attached to it. Have you ever heard of the phrase artisan mining? Any of you? Do you know what that is? Artisan mining? It's a colonizer word to cover up the crime of forcing children as young as 18 months to wallow in mud pits and pick out pieces of coltan and cobalt so that you get the privilege of driving a Tesla, so that you get the privilege of having the new, most up-to-date iPhone. This is your responsibility. This is my responsibility. I'm doing my part. I'm organizing. I'm a delegate. I'm here testifying. I'm supposed to be able to speak to you. Isn't this my civic duty? As a citizen, isn't this what I'm supposed to be doing? Interacting with you in order to have our world reflect the morals and ethics that we hold true to? Dead children isn't my morals. Dead babies does not uphold my ethics, and there are millions of them at your feet. Feel the weight of the responsibility that you carry. Your job is to make sure that we are safe. And if there is no safety abroad, there is no safety here. We are 100% complicit in all 26 international global genocides that are happening right now. We need to see you do something. Where's your statement? Where are you in our communities? Where are you showing up? Because again, I was a delegate. I drove from Lincoln to Hastings Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Put my family on the back burner, had to bring my children with me on Sunday. If I can make these sacrifices and I don't get paid to do not a piece of this, where the hell are you? And when you see me out at one of these things, why don't you speak? I've cornered you before. Do better. I'm sick of coming here and I'm sick of talking to you like this. Do better.
Time. Next speaker, please.
Hi.
And then we have an open microphone if someone else would like to come up.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Andrea Peterson. I'm a resident of Lincoln. I'm a clinical social worker, and I work with all sorts of folks, but a lot of PTSD, a lot of depression. I keep having these moments in the middle of the night that I wake up and I think of all the things that this person just shared with you and all the images that are coming up on my phone. And I can't help but think of all the suffering that's happening. I work in mental health, so I'm not a public speaker. I work real well one-on-one with people or small groups, especially when they're in need, and I can support and I can hold grief and a lot of trauma. But the level of vicarious trauma that I don't know if you're aware that people are experiencing because of what's going on, especially in Palestine, is immense. And quite honestly, I think I haven't been able to come very often, but I was here once before. And I keep thinking of the speech that I want to say and how strong my voice is going to sound. But here I am, tearing up with a shaky chest. But these people have done a really good job of bringing you guys information, trying to give you context in regard to the environmental issue
that this is causing, the mental health issues that this is causing, the geopolitical issues that this is causing, because this isn't creating peace and security for the land. And I do remember in their feed seeing something about somebody on city council like insinuating that, like, what are we doing for the hostages? As though this is a one-sided thing, that we must not care about the Israeli hostages. I'm like, man, these people have really outlined a very clear and concise reason to do something, to stand up for something, to bring forth a ceasefire resolution. And I'm like, man, I must be confused, because I don't, with this much context and this much information, and for nothing to be done is a level of cognitive dissonance that I work with people who have these cognitive dissonances on an interpersonal, like on a personal, interpersonal level, but it's like on this mass scale that is so maddening. It's like, it's frightening that nothing has been said or done or brought forth. And so the idea of doing nothing, how is that helping the hostages? What message is that sending? Sending billions of dollars in bombs. Like, what is that doing for the hostages? I don't know if you, like, what the understanding of a ceasefire resolution, the impact that that would have on the people, not only in this community, but around the U.S., is extremely significant. The way that we interact with each other, our context on a global scale, and all of the individuals that are here in this community, we're all interconnected. And I'm shocked that there's this divide. People say, well, why aren't people speaking up for the Israeli side? Yeah, there's been a lot of suffering. Nobody is denying that October 7th happened. Nobody is denying that there's terror, but terror is only going to beget more terror. And the number, I think it's in like 9,200 I saw, Palestinians since October 7th have been detained. I mean, you could call those hostages with no legal course of action. There's images of Palestinian detainees, that they call them, coming out completely traumatized. Those are the people that I am then going to have to work with.
And that's 5 minutes there. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
We have an open microphone here if someone else would like to come up next.
First off, my name's Anastasia Penner. I live, you don't need to know where I live. It's a matter of public record. I'm going to waive that for my safety. First, happy Pride to all the queers who stand up against genocide. And may the rest of you have the day that you deserve. I want to directly address the people of Lincoln. For months now, we have been coming before the Lincoln City Council and begging them to help end the genocide in Gaza and stop the arming of the genocidal, illegitimate state that is Israel. We have educated them about the tens of thousands of martyrs created from the bombing and disease and hunger. We have educated them on General Dynamics, a weapons manufacturer here in Lincoln on Industrial and Superior, that makes Mk-82s, Mk-84s, and Hellfire missiles, as well as 155 millimeter rounds that have been confirmed to kill civilians in Gaza. We have shown them the devastation and offered resources and additional education. Their hearts and souls have been replaced by revocable trusts and money and political expedience. So again, I ask the public at large for help. There are tangible ways that normal people can help. One way is by using the information provided by Operation Olive Branch. Operation Olive Branch is a grassroots movement to support and amplify aid requests of Palestinian families. Operation Olive Branch has also expanded and is continuing to build ways to also support and amplify the voices of those suffering in Congo and Sudan. You can go to their website, Linktree for Olive Branch, linktr.ee/OPLIVEBRANCH. This website has resources such as information about the genocide, projects you can donate to, as well as the GoFundMe pages of numerous families. Many of those who are seeking not just to flee Gaza to go into Egypt, but also to return one day and rebuild their homes that General Dynamics in Lincoln, Nebraska has bombed. Operation Olive Branch also has additional resources and ways to help Gazans on how to spread the word. Operation Olive Branch can also be found on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter/X, and YouTube. Another way to help is by participating in boycotts. All politics are local, and you can vote with your dollars. If you don't support genocide, make your money say it. You can download the No Thanks app. This app is easy to use. You just scan the barcode of a product and it will tell you if the company/product supports Israel and its colonial violence. Large companies like to hide behind fun names of their products, so don't be fooled. Do your best to particularly boycott Walmart, Starbucks, and McDonald's. These companies have deep financial ties to Israel, and they are feeling the effects of this boycott. The more pressure we can put on these companies, the less they can give to these genocidal regimes. Whatever you can do, what else can you do, I should say? Well, of course, you can come on down to the city-county building and you can join us. Every second Monday of the month and last Monday of the month, we have a public comment. So you could also just come on down here and join us in telling the city council exactly what you think of them and what they have been doing. You can also follow such organizations as Democracy Now!, Al Jazeera as well, and Revolutionary Blackout Network, as well as Middle East Eye. Join us. You can join us, and our voice becomes your voice, because clearly all of these people are incredibly complicit, and we have educated them to the ends of the world. We have offered to be in community with them, and they continue to attempt to ignore us. But you can always come down and share your voice with these genocidal maniacs who would rather, be attached to dead Congolese and dead Sudanese people instead of, figuring out ways to divest Lincoln from the genocidal actions. Instead, they would rather have mealy-mouthed emails about how, we can't really do anything because we kind of don't want to. So you can write them, you can email them, you can join us
That's
for a
5
free
minutes.
Palestine.
Thank you.
You all can choose to do better.
All right, next up, and we do have another open mic if someone else would like to speak. Go ahead, Councilor.
My name's Corey Raymond. I currently live in close to Denton, Nebraska. I lived in Lincoln for years. I was thinking I've been an attorney for 25 years, and I might have picked the worst timing for this speech that I've had in my 25 years of speaking to people. But, and I don't mean to, I'm not belittling your concern. My topics is just a little different and less serious. I want to talk to you about baseball. My son plays select. We've been going to games. He's been playing baseball his entire life. And these are really exciting times in Lincoln for baseball and softball. And I'm going to keep saying baseball because that's my experience, but I know Lincoln has a lot to be proud of with our softball teams also. I believe we had 2 high schools that were in the championships, and Lincoln East obviously has been making Lincoln proud. But there is a disconnect between, there's a gap of the baseball field conditions here in Lincoln. Now, there's a whole lot of excitement about everything that's going on with the new facility up there on Cornhusker, and I think Northwest is building them a new field, and Sherman just redid their field, and that's awesome. But the funding for the city parks that we play at, that our teams play at, are substandard at best. We have the worst fields that we go to. That's including Seward, Wahoo, York, Omaha. That's just not my opinion. If you ask anyone who has any kid traveling in baseball, our fields are terrible. And what caused me to come out and do this or come out and talk to you is we had we have games up in Jensen Field, which is around 84th and Highway 2. That is the worst baseball field that I have ever been to. And this is coming from a kid who grew up in a small town south of here, and we played on a dirt field in a cornfield. That place is horrible. Some of the teams won't even play on that field because it's in such terrible condition. The infield is hard as a rock with gravel over top. The outfield kind of reminds me of my parents' cattle pasture, and there's no fence. But what's crazy about it to me is that Lincoln must have spent 25, 30, I don't know how much those backstops, I was kind of Googling it, to how much backstops and everything cost. I bet they had to spend over 20 to 30,000 just in these nice backstops back there. But then they stopped, and now nobody wants to play. And I don't think any of the parents are asking Lincoln to invest $10 million or even $1 million in our baseball field. But what has happened over the last years is I think the City Parks has done a wonderful job on the pickleball courts, the bike trails, but that's come at the expense of fixing up these baseball fields because we don't have enough baseball fields. And in talking to all these coaches, my understanding is, and I'm not a coach, I just root and I keep stats, but every spring they have a lottery. And, you know, all these teams get in a lottery and they're all trying for these baseball fields. Now, I'm going to be way low on the numbers, but I think there's over 180 adult softball teams that are utilizing our city fields. The Babe Ruth League has around 36 teams. Salt Dogs has over 80 teams. And then these select teams have over 50 teams. Again, I just left out all the softball gals or boys because I don't have any connections to them. So I know I'm way low on that. But that's thousands and thousands of adults and kids who are using our fields. And because we don't have enough fields, these baseball teams and softball teams are utilizing parks like Jensen Field, which is terrible, Standing Bear, which that would actually be a really nice park if we put a fence around it and did a little infield work. And I just don't think it would cost that much to do it. And, you know, when I talk to the parents, we don't need anything fancy. We're happy to use the porta potties. We don't need bleachers. We're happy to bring a lawn chair and sit there. We just want a decent field so our kids can actually have a decent baseball game. I'm running out of time. I got on City Parks. I tried to talk to some folks there. But what I thought was interesting is when I looked at the City Parks website, there's all these working committees for the parks and what they want to work on. For the dog runs, working group on the outdoor racket, the pickleball, the mountain bike. Again, that's awesome. But there's no working group for baseball. And I asked them, do you have any plans to upgrade any facilities? And the answer was no. And I'm not a historian, but I'll bet you that no baseball field has been upgraded in Lincoln for a decade or two. So I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
Sir, what's your name?
Rory Raymond, R-E-I-M-A-N.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you for your time.
Thanks. All right, we do have another microphone available if someone would like to come up. If not, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Amy. I'm not going to share my address. Thank you for my safety. I am terrified. I'm not a very good public speaker, but I think it's really important to come and participate in local government. That's what I was taught in my high school civics class, that participating in government is how things get done. You've heard a lot about Palestine from the others who have spoken already. I would like to give you just a little more information and speak to you from a legal perspective. I would like to talk about why what's happening in Gaza and in Palestine is a genocide. There are 5 parts to the Genocide Convention that make something a genocide. The Convention of the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, known as the Genocide Convention, was presented by the UN in 1948, and it was signed in 1951. It goes over what signifies a genocide and came about after the Holocaust, which is the genocide that most people know about. For a genocide, any of the following, in whole or in part, are required for a genocide to be occurring. Not all of these criteria must be met. Only one needs met for a genocide to be occurring. The first is killing members of the group. As you've heard, tens of thousands of Palestinians have been killed since October 7th. We are dropping bombs daily. Every hour in Palestine, 42 bombs are dropped. 6 children are killed every hour. Second, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. As you heard in testimony, mental harm is being caused. Kids are orphans. Family members are losing their loved ones daily. Every single day, this is happening. Deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. Palestinians do not have access to water. They do not have access to fuel. They do not have access to food. Food and water are a requirement for life. Not a single one of us could live without food or without water. And these are being denied to the people in Gaza. Criteria 3 has clearly been met. 4, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. Of all the hospitals in Gaza, only 16 are partially functional. Women are having to give birth out in the rubble. Women are miscarrying their children, the people they love. From what I understand, we're a pro-life state, but that's not very pro-life of us. To watch women have to lose their children that they wanted because of what's happening in Gaza, in Palestine, in the West Bank. The only criteria that is not met is forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. From my understanding, that has not yet occurred. If someone would like to share that that's occurred, I would love to hear it. The final piece is going to be intent. Intent is key for genocide. Without intent, there may not be genocide. I would like to read you a quote from Isaac Herzog, the Israeli president. It is an entire nation out there that is responsible. It is not true, this rhetoric about civilians not being aware, not involved. It's absolutely not true. They could have risen up, they could have fought against that evil regime which took over Gaza in a coup d'etat. There's your intent. Every single citizen this president considers to be complicit in October 7th. When I was in high school, I took a Holocaust lit class, and that taught me that you should never be a bystander. I would like to ask all of you to stop being bystanders. Please do something. Thank you.
All right, we have another open mic here if someone else would like to come up. If not, here.
Hi, so my name is Holly Smith. I was gonna sing a song. I wrote it for my brother in Lebanon. I found out 2 weeks ago that he has brain cancer, and I haven't heard from him for a week now. So I'm just gonna sing a song. I hope that's okay. I brought my ukulele today. Rainy morning, found out yesterday I don't have much longer with you. White dust that surrounds you, it is slowly killing you. And they say it's not our fault, but we sent the bombs they dropped on your town. The shells were made on my land, and now I'm working on how. And I've been watching it all since fall on rainy mornings. White dust that surrounds you, it is slowly killing. And they say it's not our fault, but we sent the bombs they dropped on your town. The shells were made on my land, and now I'm here working on how I can dismantle all their factories. Oh, for what they did to you. Oh, for what they did to you.
We do have one other mic up here if anyone would like to come up. If not, go ahead.
Hi. Hello. I've never been to one of these, so bear with me. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a conversation or we just talk or what the... Okay, cool. Got it. Okay. My name is Leah Picard Abo. Hello. Hi. Hey. We went to high school together. So cool seeing somebody my age up there with y'all. Cool. I honestly didn't come here expecting to see this type of demonstration going on. I had no idea what to expect, but now that I have sat here and have listened to these testimonials, I have a quote that I look at on the daily. Y'all probably maybe know who it is. I'll just say it, and I'm paraphrasing here. The ultimate measure of a person is not where they stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where they stand at times of challenge and controversy. I don't know about you guys, but it's an election year and I'm feeling a bit of challenge and controversy in the climate of our country currently, and if I'm being frank, the climate of the world. So, what can we do to make it more comfort and convenience climate versus a challenge and controversy. I'm a realist. I'm a pragmatic person. I know that challenges and controversy are never going to be completely eradicated. No one's asking for perfection because perfection mathematically doesn't exist. But it's my understanding that you guys were voted to these positions and that you believe in democracy, or else why would you be here? Why would you be here if you didn't believe those basic principles? There are other reasons you could be here. I'm not going to get into those because I don't want you to feel like I'm here to point at all of you and be like, you're the reason that, I believe her name was Hin. Her entire family was massacred. I'm sure, I hope none of you have any ties to General Dynamics, but with the state of e-commerce, I can't be sure. I'm hoping you're not, because I would hope that the officials that represent not just me, not just the city of Lincoln, but the country that, for better or worse, is the leader of the free world, that none of you would have ties to that type of blood money. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a dollar sign for a life. It might not be our countrymen, but it's our fellow man, woman, and child. And I really liked what she said about Nebraska being a pro-life state and it not being very pro-life, that women are giving birth in rubble. So I like that comparison. I thought that was very, shout out whoever said that. I think that I want to also quote not just a great revolutionary, visionary, humanitarian activist, because I think being a humanitarian without activism is just being a lip service individual. And in case you didn't know who I quoted earlier, it was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But I also want to quote some artists that came together and made one of the most historic pieces of music known to man. Sorry, I have a cold, so. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day, so let's start giving. I don't know the melody to this next part, so I'll just read it. There's a choice we're making, whether that's a choice from silence, absence of action and legislation, or direct opposite of that, imposing legislation that keeps General Dynamics able to build these things and send them. There's a choice being made. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me.
That's 5 minutes. Thank you. You have an open mic here on this side. If someone would like to come up, we'll go ahead and begin here.
To address withdrawal for safety. So you might hear diesel earlier, right? And this is the drone sound that gets in listen 24/7. 24/7, they have something flying over their head, over and over and over. If it's come closer, it means they might get bombed. You don't know. Right? Let's try to listen to this for only 5 minutes and see how you feel. We've been here so many weeks, and we've been bringing you a lot of information. I hope we're not the only channel that bring you this information. I hope you also educate yourself at home too and read the news and learn more about what's happening. Unfortunately, even though we in 2024, we think that we have free will and we not. we are purposely withdraw all of this information, all of the very critical information. That I think it would be a good idea if after today you go home or tomorrow start to do some research about this. Start to just searching about Palestine, about Gaza. Watch a movie. There's many out there. The most recent one called Where the Olive Tree Weeps. It's free online if you just search it online. It's an hour 44 minutes. Please note that it was made in 2022, so all of those things happened before October 7. The movie will explain to you why all of this is happening, why we've been going here so consistently. There are many other movies, there are many other documentary, I should say, that will help with you information. I think a lot of people will think that we already have the information we need and they stop learning, they stop reading more, and they think that's all they need. And honestly, it's not. My personal story is like that. I was super ignorant before October 7. I never read the news. I think it's so negative. I'm powerless and helpless doing those, so I was just like, do what I can with what I know. But yeah, news, political, not something for me. And October 7 happened, I didn't know. I was celebrating my grandma's birthday, until like October 20th-ish is when I've learned about it from my sister. And it did take me quite a few, like 5-10 minutes to really start to see something about it when I search, because it's so hidden from us. Social media doesn't really show it if you're not interested in it. News doesn't really show it. It's just so some part of it. So it's really take me some work in order to really see it. But once I see it, it's right away. I know it's wrong. Like, there's nothing can justify the killing of children. Right? There's nothing can justify the occupation and the apartheid regime for 76 years. If this happened to your family, if someone pushed you too hard, you withdraw everything, what will you do? Will you just sit there and wait until you got killed? Or will you stand up and fight for maybe the possibility of freedom? What will you do? Every Monday when we're here, we see you up there doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and the very last word was justice and freedom for all, right? If we say it, we probably should believe in that, right? I believe in justice and freedom for all. I believe in everyone should have the right to be who they are, to do what they want, to live the way they like, as long as it's not hurting other people, right? But it is even hard in this time when me using a phone or laptop is actually hurting someone. So we are putting ourselves in a very hard time where every decision we make going to hurt someone, and doing nothing is actually not going to help anyone. Do you want that war to be continued for your children, for your grandchildren?
And
I don't
that's
think
5
so.
minutes.
So please consider the resolution, consider that you all can do something.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers tonight? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Go ahead and call the roll. Motion's been made. Is there a second, I should say?
Second.
The second, Duden?
Duden?
Yes.
Bowers? Yes. Schob?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Carlson?
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0.
Meeting is adjourned.